Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Sally Fletcher. I'm the managing editor here at SSON, and I'm delighted to be hosting this session today. So today we're talking about the important topic of migrating from legacy OCR to Gen AI-enabled IDP. So for those of you joining us for the first time, I wanted to highlight a few important tools on the console that you see before you. All our speakers are here live, and there is an attendee chat where you can post questions to the speakers, and I always encourage you to do so. We've got some time reserved at the end of the sessions to take those, so please do put them in the chat or in the Q&A. If you have any technical difficulties during the session, you can also message me or my colleagues here, and we will come right back to you. It's not easy presenting online. We can't see you, we can't hear you, but we do like to know you're out there. So there is an emojis icon at the bottom. If you want to give us the speakers a thumbs up, if you agree with the points they're sharing, or a smiley if you really agree with the points they're sharing, thank you very much. Next to that is a resource tab. In the resource tab, there is additional resources related to the topic of the presentation. In here, base64.ai have kindly provided a copy of the slides, so no need to have screenshots or write too much. You can sit back and relax and enjoy the presentation. What else have I got to tell you? CPE points. If you are collecting your CPE points, this webinar does qualify for those. You just need to take part in the polls that we're going to post and also answer the Q&A survey at the very end of the webinar and put yes for the CPE points. And you must be located in North America to qualify. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to put you guys to work, our audience. I'm going to first post our first polling question. We'd really like to know, select your major issues with OCR data extraction. It's multiple choice, multiple answer, so you can put as many as you would like. And Base64 have listed a whole load of the common problems around OCR data extraction: low accuracy, old tech, no on-premises deployment, different document types, missing language, and so on. So I'll leave that up for just a couple of minutes while I introduce our speakers for today. So we have three speakers here. First up, Ozan Bilgin, the founder and president for base64.ai. Base64.ai is the AI that automates document processes. Ozan himself has a BSc and MSc in computer science and has led important R&D projects throughout his career at IBM, Microsoft, Netflix, PayPal, Uber, Palantir, and also including the world's biggest payment processor at PayPal and Uber's vehicle leasing department. So some really incredible brands in his repertoire. He's joined by Keith Haas as SVP for Sales and Delivery at base64.ai. Keith is a technology executive with over 20 years of experience leading AI, cloud, and digital transformation initiatives. As Senior Vice President of Sales and Delivery, he drives global strategy for AI-powered document automation solutions. Previously, he led professional services at Effisoft and held senior leadership roles at IBM also, guiding enterprise clients through large-scale innovation and a cloud transformation. And last but not least, we have Rafael Castro, Solutions Architect at base64.ai. Here he leads the design and delivery of next-generation AI-driven document automation solutions for global enterprises. With over a decade of experience at IDP and process orchestration, Rafael bridges the gap between business goals and cutting-edge automation. As a lifelong technology and strategist, and beyond his technical leadership, Rafael is an advocate for democratizing automation and helping organizations modernize their legacy OCR systems. So, three perfect panelists to talk to us today about this topic. I'm going to end that poll and let's have a look at the answers. Okay, see Keith nodding his head. No surprise there, Keith, with low accuracy being the biggest problem that our audience are facing. Let's see, followed by does not support all document types, missing audit and reporting functionality, and then here, old technology. So, if there are other problems you're facing, other major issues, please do put them in the chat. We'd love to find out what are your challenges so that the team here on the webinar can help solve those. Right, I am going to go ahead and share my slides, and then I can hand over to Keith to lead us in this presentation. Can you see that there, Keith?
I can. Thank you.
Over to you.
All righty. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate your time today. We're going to talk a little bit about legacy OCR to Gen AI IDP. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges that every enterprise knows too well. That is extracting data from documents, as we just saw in the poll. OCR systems that were deployed like years ago are still running in critical processes, and they're causing all kinds of bottlenecks, poor accuracy, manual rework, and that's kind of expensive to these companies today. So 3 bullets that we're going to take a look at today is legacy OCR is holding business back. How is it doing so? Traditional OCR tools, they struggle with accuracy, as we saw in the poll, flexibility and scalability. We'll highlight the hidden costs of manual validation, limited document types, which is also on the poll, and slow model updates. And we'll show how modern AI-driven IDP eliminates a lot of these bottlenecks. Secondary is the ROI of migrating to Gen AI IDP. We'll talk a little bit about how we can discover how companies are reducing processing costs by up to 70%, improving data accuracy, and accelerating turnaround times. And then finally, how do you transition without disrupting your operations? That's always a concern. You do not want to make a transition and then have everything fall on their face. So you want to integrate easily with your existing systems. You want to enable parallel testing, and then you want to provide dedicated support to make sure your teams can adapt without downtime. So we'll keep this session kind of practical and actionable as much as we possibly can. We're not going to spend the whole hour with you guys. There'll be some time afterwards for some Q&A, which Ozan will be able to answer pretty much every question that you have with the experience that he has in this area. And then we'll hopefully walk away with a clear approach to modernizing your document automation where it matters most, which is basically your bottom line. So let's go ahead to the next slide there. Perfect. All right, so as we can see here, right, why enterprise still struggle with OCR? It really wasn't built, legacy OCR wasn't built for real world complexity back in the day, right, before AI. The main issues were in unstructured documents, multi-column layouts, dynamic tables, cannot be handled with legacy OCR, as well as checkboxes that would throw on top of it that would just kind of break the static templates. There were low accuracy with poor scans, stamps, handwriting, unusual fonts that would come through the place. And then, of course, because of all those issues, you had manual review, which skyrocketed all kinds of operating costs. On top of that, there's professional services that would go and type for every single type of template that had to go through place. So these types of costs really would become delays in, say, claim payouts. You would have late payments and missed discounts possibly later on. You would have audit exposure and compliance risk due to, say, long processing times. And then you would have onboarding friction, with customer churn. They come in at that type of accuracy and issues on the time, they would not have a happy client. Without a happy client, you do not have a good business. So that would end up, having customer churn. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, you have high manual data extraction costs. You have companies that would be processing, say, for example, 10,000 invoices a month. They could save thousands of labor hours and tens of thousands in annual costs, or even hundreds of thousands if they are completely manually processing invoices. It is the accuracy crisis really that is causing this operational efficiency. And we want to make sure that these struggles are taken care of with real documents and Gen AI today. So we take a little bit into the ROI migration framework, which is the next slide. Real quick, there we go. Oh, gotta go back. There we go. All right. So we're going to get a little bit of financial clarity, right? What is legacy OCR truly costing you? You got hidden cost drivers that a lot of people don't really look at when they're taking a look at the overall cost. You've got manual correction loops, right? So you get bad accuracy comes through, and then you have your your offshore team going through and doing the manual correction for multiple different types of templates that come through, which then leads to SLA delays and exception queues. You've got error-driven compliance penalties that could be on top if you're in finance and insurance. You have legacy licensing and infrastructure burden, but you're staying with the legacy OCR and not moving into the future because of the licensing. You have to continue every single year to continue to pay for this type of accuracy, which then you're losing automation opportunities. And then, as we all know, these templates have to be updated, maintained, create new ones, which causes expensive professional service costs. So then you map the migration wins for this type of thing. You can get up to, with Gen AI, you can get up to 99.7 accuracy, even on handwriting and tables. You can have up to 90% fewer manual touch points when documents come through. You can handle complex dynamic documents. When I say dynamic, something could be on page 1, it could be on page 3 the next time through, it could be on page 10 the next time. The documents do not have to be static for the data to be extracted, where the old day it had to be static in place, which then allows you to have a 50 to 80% faster cycle times. And then straight through processing becomes more of the norm, using AI to actually go and extract the data where the AI is pulling it, as opposed to a static place in the document itself. So when companies actually use Gen AI and LLM-based OCR and IDP tools, they usually can see a real boost in ROI. There's less manual work, there's faster processing, fewer errors, and it's especially impactful in industries finance, insurance, and retail, where dealing with tons of documents is the norm. The key is making sure that it's tied to clear goals when you go into using Gen AI. You want to either reduce costs, you want to analyze data, you want to save time. These are the different things that you want to put in ahead of time to put the foundation in place to get the good data from the start. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to, I think, either Sally or Ozan, and we're going to move forward on a better way with Gen AI.
Great.
Absolutely. I think we were going to run a quick poll, Otsan, here, and then I'll hand over to you. So let me just launch the second poll here for our audience. Would love to know all the OCR products that you currently use. So yeah, do just please go ahead and answer that. And I have seen a couple of questions in the chat about the resources and about the slides. You can find those in the Resource Center. You can download those slides. They're all in there. So yeah, please do so. I'll keep that up while I hand over to you, Otsan, to carry on the presentation.
Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. So we have a better way to do this now. It's called Gen AI IDP. Generative AI, unlike the previous tools, it just doesn't extract the data only. It understands the data. So what is understanding the data? So understanding the data is connecting the data with your internal tools and live events to get you what the meaning of that document is. And it has much more capabilities that wasn't previously available in the previous decades. So for example, with base64 Gen AI IDP, instead of purchasing, configuring, learning, and maintaining multiple one-off solutions, with one product, with one platform, you can process all document types. That's the biggest promise of base64 Gen AI IDP. And unlike the zone-based OCR, Gen AI IDP understands documents semantically, meaning understand the meanings and context just like a human does. At its core, base64 is a pre-trained AI for finance, insurance, healthcare, and KYC processes. When you upload a document, it automatically determines its type and extracts its fields. This so-called zero-shot learning requires no template maintenance, and it works even like the most complex documents and invoices. with Gen AI IDP, we also enter the age of agentic AI. Using the agentic AI helps you to connect to your internal systems for automatic data enrichment and validation, which improves the straight-through processing. And for every extracted field, in fact, for every word in the result, you get a source citation and a confidence score. So for example, the AI says, I am 98% confident your receipt is not approved because so-and-so paragraph in the expense policy that excludes certain purchases. So this is like the data you can get by combining the Gen AI IDP's features, such as agentic AI, RAG, retrieval augmented generative AI, semantic understanding. So Gen AI turns document data into trusted and usable intelligence in real time, enabling your AI agents to automate your document processes. Now, that sounds great, right? But we want to switch that, but we don't also want to boil the ocean. We don't want to cause any downtime or confusion switching to the latest IDP technology. So how do we get from the 90s OCR tech to 2020s Gen AI without ripping off the existing systems? My colleague Rafael will now walk you through our smooth zero-risk migration plan. It features built-in safes that reverse the existing way if you need, eliminating the need for engineering work and employee training. Rafael, please.
Good morning and afternoon. So most organizations assume that migration means replacing everything they already have, your workflow systems, your integrations, or any of your document management system. But that's not what we're doing at all. The goal here is to modernize your document processing without disrupting your existing process and day-to-day operations. Your teams will continue using the existing screens, so no end-user training is necessary. With our Gen AI IDP, you can create a migration roadmap that modernizes your document processing. And this can be achieved in 4 very simple steps. Step 1 is to connect. You start by connecting our Gen AI IDP solution to your existing OCR workflow using our plugins. Our Gen AI takes the documents and returns the results in the format of your existing setup for systems integration. Our pre-built AI models and native plugins achieve this deployment within a day. Step number 2 is to route. Next, you start with a percentage of your documents through our Gen AI IDP solution, maybe 10, 20% of your volume. Or you go vendor by vendor or process by process. You control the migration velocity completely. This allows you to test performance and accuracy under a safe environment with an easy path to revert if necessary. Step number 3 is to monitor and refine. As soon as documents are flowing through, you start monitoring your new KPIs, your extraction rates, your processing time, even your edge cases and the validation. How long does a user take to validate a document? We analyze where AI is performing better and where additional training is needed. And then you switch. That's step number 4. When you confirm our Gen AI IDP platform has reached your expected levels of accuracy and performance, which usually happens within days, then you can move to full production. The time transition is smooth with no workflow disruptions, no user retraining, because employees will continue using their existing screens. No downtime. Like I also said, a zero-risk plan. That will be low risk, high ROI, deliver immediately. With this zero-risk plan, everything continues working during the transition. Employees will continue using the same screens, no training needed, very low friction. Instead of thinking of migration as a painful rebuild, think of it as a parallel evolution where your old system and the new AI platform work together. If you can do the next slide, please. Perfect. So what does success look like once your migration is complete? Once GenAI is your primary document intelligence engine. So let's talk about the end. First, it's all about accuracy and return on investment. GenAI IDP customers consistently achieve over 95% accuracy. And that's not a sales or marketing number. That's not a sales engineer or a salesperson telling you over a Zoom or in person. That level of precision means far fewer manual corrections and lower operational costs. When you combine that accuracy with automation across thousands of documents, the result is usually 20 times ROI, sometimes even higher, when you add other factors like additional validation, exception handling, professional services cost, etc. Sometimes you even have to keep old servers because the platform that you're using is not compatible with the new servers or operating systems. Then the platform is future-proof. GenAI IDP solutions are built using the latest generation of foundational models and GenAI technologies. The system is designed to evolve as new document types, regulations, and use cases appear. You're already covered. You will not need another upgrade or migration in 2 to 3 years, which is the norm today. Platforms will continue to expand, evolve, and offer more and more AI features. The third pillar is open innovation. Our GenAI platform is not a black box. Customers can create their own custom models, integrate with other AI platforms, create the custom workflows to fit their needs, even chat with your documents. Of course, innovation only works when it fits into the real world. Our platform connects natively with CRMs, RPA tools, ERP systems, and data. Whether you're using Salesforce, ServiceNow, AWS, Google, or any custom-built system, we fit right in. No need to redesign or disrupt your current workflow. And finally, it is backed by a living platform, one that is updated continuously and supported around the clock. Our technical team provides 24-hour global support. This means no waiting for patches or a response. Next slide, please. So this should be very familiar to a lot of you. Where do we see the fastest win with our GenAI IDP? It's in finance automation, especially in accounts payable. This is typically the most document-intensive function in any organization. And it's also the area where intelligent automation delivers immediate, measurable results. So let's start with fundamentals. Our platform extracts both header and line item data automatically, not just totals and vendor names, but every product description, quantity, price, tax, currency evaluation, even multi-line lines. No templates, no rules to maintain, just accurate data from the very first upload. Next, we perform vendor normalization. This means the platform recognizes the same supplier may have different names, addresses, etc. It aligns those records with your master data so your ERP or accounting system stays clean. Then comes the PO match assist. GenAI compares extracted invoice data to existing PO, flag any mismatches, even predicts whether PO belongs to whichever invoice, saving your AP team hours of manual lookups. GenAI also goes a step further with AI-assisted three-way matching. The platform can cross-verify invoice against both purchase orders and good receipts, instantly identifying discrepancies in quantity, pricing, or delivery status. This turned what used to be a tedious validation task into a fully automated quality check. And every piece of extracted data, from line totals to GL codes, comes with audit-ready evidence. Auditors can trace and field directly back to the source document, seeing exactly where it was captured. That transparency is a major advantage for compliance and reporting. The impact is immediate. Fewer late payment penalties, faster approval cycles. You can even take advantage of the early payment discounts and a dramatic reduction in manual touch per invoice. Most clients see results within days. Measurable savings, clearer data, and a finance team that can finally focus on strategy instead of data entry. My apologies. Next slide, please. When we move beyond the invoices, another major area where GenAI IDP shines is in mixed forms and handwriting recognition. Think about industries like insurance, banking, customer onboarding. They still rely heavily on forms that come in every shape and format imaginable. Some are scans, some are fax, and some are filled out by hand with a picture from your phone. And most of them contain a mix of checkboxes, signatures, and complex layouts. They are exactly the types of documents that frustrate legacy OCR systems because they require templates, form definitions, or manual field mapping to make sense of them. And let's not even talk about handwriting recognition or lack thereof. GenAI changes that completely. Our GenAI-powered IDP treats every document, even the messiest one, as a structured data source. It can instantly detect handwritten fields, checkbox selections, multi-column layouts, and meta table, all without configuring or templates or creating anything. Signature check-in, yeah, we can do it too. So whether you're processing an insurance claim, a handwritten enrollment form, a check, a consent document with multiple signatures, GenAI extracts everything accurately and in context. It not only captures the data, but also understands the document structure, which means no more manual sorting or pre-processing. In short, a document is a document, no matter how messy, inconsistent, or how much handwriting it may have. With GenAI IDP, your team can process these forms at scale, automatically, and with audit-ready transparency. And with that, I'll hand back to Ozan, who will deep dive into how this same technology applies across a wide range of broader use cases beyond forms, from logistics and healthcare to financial services and government workflow.
Thank you, Rafael. That was enlightening. So GenAI is one of the biggest promises is there's no template approach, right? And you want to look into now where the GenAI powered IDP really shines by real life use cases. As you see on the screen, banking, finance, insurance, supply chain, those are the sectors that deal with enormous volumes of complex regulated documents. And we help automate onboarding and compliance tasks for new account openings, KYC validations, loan applications, and policy enrollments, all while maintaining very strict data regulations and certifications. The Base64 is certified for ISO 27001, SOC 2 Type 2, HIPAA, GDPR, and some other certifications. Those certifications guarantee strong encryption, strict access controls, secure data storage. That means privacy. That means no breaches, and that means upholding customer trust while meeting international compliance requirements. The good thing is like Base64 also does not need to store your data to operate. The processing happens in memory, and you have the option to choose not to store any documents or data on Base64 or AI. It's a very unique feature. So next slide, please. All right. So we want to talk about now about some best practices. Basics for AI started in 2020, January 2020. So we learned a lot along the way, and we'd like to share some of the learnings with you here. So let's start with the first one. Good successful IDP projects, they start with a high ROI projects instead of small, nice-to-have niche that don't have a budget or priority. Those don't have a priority or importance to the business, they get cut. Their funding get cut in terms of financial and also like employee. Their funding get cut. Even the solution you have in hand is ironclad. That's not a priority. So if you want to make a change, go big. Second, we suggest you to set the KPIs before starting. What do we want to really achieve here? What is success? What are red flags? And how are we measuring it? What were they in the past? You should always rely on data, not on opinions. With this fast pace of technology, there's a lot of concerned people within there will be at least in your organization. There will be employees who don't want AI because they are afraid it's going to steal your job. There are employees who are experienced in previous tools. So the best way to bring everybody on the same page is to rely on KPIs and go by the data instead of opinion. Third thing is launch fast. Don't expect 100% perfection on day zero. And this is mostly because AI cannot learn or replace your tribal knowledge, but it can adapt to it. In reality, AI will handle most of the work, and you will have many opportunities to refine the process based on your life learnings. In fact, you'll be able to change the shortcomings of your previous processes by this migration. But if you don't launch fast, this project will keep on going without any deliverables. So we don't want that. Next on that is land and expand. So land and expand means starting with one project and using it in other departments. Base64 Gen AI is a versatile platform that understands over 2,800 document types out of the box without any training. Our AI solutions are trusted by the world's leading banks, insurance companies, and supply chain operators. What we learn is we cannot change everything in months, but once you start showing the results of Gen AI, you will see quickly other internal customers will come and ask how they can implement this technology in their departments. And lastly, but maybe the most important thing is celebrate the wins. Celebrate quick wins to maintain team and executive support. It takes a village to change an organization culture. You are the visionaries, so you visionaries need to stick together and celebrate. This Gen AI revolution brings over 90% touch-free processing, and that is the new norm. It's not exceptional. Okay, next slide, please. All right, and we want to also talk about like how we see the future is going to shape, and from there, obviously there are a lot to say, but we want to pick 3 interesting things with this agentic Gen AI intelligent document processing features. So first of all, it's business context understanding. So what does it mean? Reading an invoice data, reading a field is not enough to process it. Should it be paid? Was it sent by one of your vendors? Did you expect that purchase order, the amounts, and all the way to the line items? Is it a duplicate invoice? Was it already paid? Without knowing the business context, you cannot automate this 100%. So business context means basically reaching out to your internal systems and find the data to verify, just like a normal, for example, AP person does every day. So that takes us to agents. Your future direct reports will be mostly AI agents. Everybody will be a manager of AI agents in this decade. We will tell AI what to process and how, so it can make decisions autonomously with our guidance and without our intervention. Therefore, learning how to command the AI and using a versatile AI platform like Base 64 is critical for your success in this. Next on that is like we're touch base with real-time operational intelligence. Before Gen AI, there were not enough business tools to monitor or measure a process's performance. Adjustments were mostly made more intuitively based on experience and instead of like fact-based data. But now you can identify the bottlenecks, crash the stagnation by focusing on what matters most. Well, and also the fact is some of your competitors are already doing it. So with this, we want to wrap up our slides and carve time for Q&A for your questions. Sally, would you take it here?
Thank you so much to Odsant, to Keith, and to Raphael for that fantastic presentation. Yes, there has been some questions that have come through, so we'll jump right into those. Actually, just before that, let me just reveal the results of our poll, share with the audience what we can see. So there's a huge mix of people using all different kinds of tools there, everything from ChatGPT, of course, Google Document AI, lots and lots of different options. So I will leave that there. Okay, brilliant. So let's go into our questions. We've had a couple of really good ones. So the first one is Base64.ai a SaaS or server private cloud-based solution?
Base 64 can be deployed on premises, but also you can use Base 64 in the cloud that you access through Base 64 and AI. So both versions are available, and we maintain feature parity to bring the latest into your data center. Yep. And the data center version, the documents are not sent to the cloud, so everything is processed on your servers, on your environment. Documents, their data, etc., it doesn't go to the internet.
Makes sense. And actually that relates to the second question of, so if you just look in the Q&A box, the second person was asking, do you offer on-premise solution, which you've answered, but then they followed up with, do we have the ability to train the models to our document specifications and requirements, or must we come to you for that? And how easy or difficult is this process to do so?
Right. So it's actually super easy. Like this is the easiest document training facility that we provide through our website. It just takes like a few minutes, and I'm here saying like 2-3 minutes to entirely model a document that we haven't seen before, and go into production. Our AI is, because it's already pre-trained with semantic understanding capabilities. When you upload the documents, it actually already extracts the data. So now what you're doing is telling the AI what you want and where you want from it. And this could be the document itself, or you might be asking the question to another document maybe, or to another workflow that contains many other documents. So it's also an option within our platform. So you don't need thousands of samples in the past. You only need like 1 or 2 samples just to guide yourself. You don't even need anything for us, but you guide yourself through the process to create for your tests and so forth.
Perfect, thank you. And then also explain your security and data privacy stance and how client information is protected.
Excellent question. Data privacy is the most important thing. when you are dealing with documents. Documents is where our secrets live, right? So in base64 AI, as I mentioned in my presentation, we don't need to store your data. Base64 can process the document without storing any document or its data, in our servers. So if you don't have it, it can't be breached, right? The second of all, base64 does not sell your data at all. The next on that is you may even can opt out to not use the data for training. It's all entirely you. So next on that is in the on-premises solution, especially like it lives in your own environment. And this could be like your data center or your, for example, private AWS cloud, right? So it works just like both alike. And in terms of like security, which is also part of privacy, everything is transmitted in HTTPS, IaaS 256 with latest cryptology methods on the over the wire. So it's been transmitted, and it's also encrypted at rest. So there's no possible path to leakage. We try to make it as secure as possible for you.
Brilliant. Another question that's come through is this AI solution specific to OCR documents, or will it work with image-only documents, i.e. no OCR?
Yes, it doesn't have to be OCR. It doesn't have to have text in it for that question. So you can upload an image to base64. It will understand and tell you what it is. Also, you can even upload like audio and movie files too. So the documents are just our starting point, of course, but we are expanding towards multimedia into multimodal world.
Oh, how exciting. Another question that's come through, Ahmed's asking, can we obtain confidence scores for character level extraction?
Great. So we provide confidence scores at the model level, at the field level, for each field separately, of course. And then if there are signatures, faces, tables, they have their own confidence score. So it goes all the way to table cell level, right? We also provide confidence level for the OCR at the page level, block level, line level, and word level. So you can get confidence score of each word. And all those things I mentioned, you also get the location of that information. So page number and the X, Y, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right coordinates. We do that so that if a document is rotated, you get the perfect rectangle there. So a giant rectangle. You get location and confidence scores with anything you provide.
Awesome. Now Panos is asking, when Gen AI returns a value, how can you verify it's a correct value? And where did Gen AI capture it from?
Excellent question. So there are, so if you have means to validate that in a way, in an automated way, that means like, you have another source data that you compare to. Meaning, for example, you read an PO number in an invoice and you know where your open POs are. So you can obviously compare that automatically, right? But in many cases, such a reference data is not available. Then what we do is we actually pinpoint in our UI where the source information was the citation of this information. So this could be like a passage in a paragraph from a document. It could be a cell in a table. And by the way, it can also be another document entirely. So like employee travel policy is a great example. You can upload a receipt and want to check if it's expensible. Well, the answer isn't in the receipt. The answer is in the employee policy. So the reference to your answer will actually open you that policy document automatically. You'll find it from your policies and it will show you that. The example.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. There's an important question come through from Bolfetta, and he is asking, how long does it take to train base64? And where did you get the examples? Are they customer examples that you used?
Right. So the good thing is that you actually don't need to train. So you can get started, like you can sign up instantly. You can create your workflows instantly. Like if when you get really familiar, you can build this end-to-end thing for your own documents, for your own systems, like within the app. I'll do it in 5 minutes, or it takes my team so do. So really, if you just start today, you'll be able to finish it like super quickly. And there's tutorial, there's training, and all that information. But the essence of this like magic is everything is pre-built for you. Previous OCR products, they expected you to train for even the most basic or common document types, like invoices, that you have to upload thousands of invoices and then take them manually and so forth. And then every company has to do this. This is not just a technical incompetency, but it's a business plan for those companies. What they do is they sell professional services one after the other for every single same thing to every single company. So we don't want that. We are customer first, and we started with the idea why every company has to train their own OCR model, right? Why don't we build the best model and sell that model? So that's why, our models comes pre-trained for you. And if you want to build your own, you just fill up a form and the model appears for you because of this nature of it.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's so important. Danusha's asking, as Gen AI IDP evolves, do you foresee it extending beyond document extraction, for example, into contextual reasoning or proactive anomaly detection in financial data?
Right. I think contextual reasoning is going to be very interesting for the analyst world. Looking at a P&L and where you are, using this data, how you are reading the SEC reports and understanding what you need to be actually looking at in this document is perfect sweet spot for Gen AI IDP solutions. I definitely agree, and this is the future of that.
Brilliant. I launched their last poll just a minute ago. So yeah, if you do want to know more about the product, about Base 64, then you can answer that and the team will get in touch with you. And I think we've got time for a couple more questions, Oğuzhan. So Canon's asking, how often do you encounter hallucinations when applying Gen AI to these use cases, and how do you mitigate that?
Yeah, so hallucination is a normal process in Gen AI, actually. So what you have to do is try to address it in your document modeling. For example, if you are trying to model a 200-page document and your answer is on the 100th page, you are actually telling AI to read everything, word by word from the beginning, and also remember it, and then give you the answer. So that increases your chances of getting hallucinated. A better way is, if that's a book, for example, divide it by chapters, and then find the right chapter first, and then ask the question to that chapter, right? Or maybe going at the page level to ask the question if that's a thing. So reducing the hallucination is actually divide and conquer problem for us.
Brilliant. Justin's asking, how do you handle fraud prevention or detecting AI-generated documents?
Yes, we actually have multiple solutions for that. We have third-party partners, and we have our internal methods. So first of all, the document being AI-generated may or may not be actually a problem. The problem is is it actually a valid document, right? So that means, again, let's talk about the invoices. We want to make sure this invoice says line items, they add up. So line item is quantity, unit price, and a line total. You check that. And then this line total should add up to subtotal. And then the subtotal plus tax minus discount plus shipping should add up to total, right? The dates should make sense. You cannot receive an invoice from year 2030, right? So, or the routing number should make sense. And also there are other kinds of checks that we apply on top of it. For example, if you receive an invoice, it's not going to be likely a PNG file, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be a you're receiving, or you're actually receiving a Word document or something like that. So those are the flags that we chase to find different kinds of fraud, like was the document altered? Was the document created by Photoshop, right? Those are all like, for red flags for us that we raise. And ultimately, the source of truth is in your ERP system, right? And then this, your customer ERP, in your environment, you have open purchase orders. If you don't find this purchase order from that vendor and it's coming from a completely irrelevant lender, that's you actually detect the biggest fraud. Because yes, even fraudsters, believe me, can create perfect PDFs. You don't get to catch that much with that.
Yeah.
Very high there.
No, it's a very tricky one. They just keep getting more sophisticated.
Yeah, Facebook and Google, if you like Google, has been scammed $150 million with invoice fraud. The invoice fraud was the invoice was sent, and not just once, many, from invalid vendor. The vendor doesn't exist, and it just sends them invoice to Facebook. I did this, and then that gets paid, and that's you're talking about Facebook and Google, so they are trying to do their best. They hire the best, right? And even then, if you don't apply the techniques we just mentioned, the validations, the Gen AI, you'll have problems there too.
Yeah. So Ravan's asking about your pricing model. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing that or maybe get in touch with Ravan directly, but he's asking if it's an outcome-based model or, pay-as-you-go traditional model.
I spoke too much. Keith, do you want to take it? Maybe.
Yeah, sure. Pricing for us, it's straightforward. It's based upon AI features, so you're not going to have to pay for the entire kitchen sink, and then it's by page. It's not by license. It's one license for your entire organization, based on pages coming through, and then, like I said, not the kitchen sink, but specific AI features that you want. So, for example, if somebody just wants to do signatures, they do not need to use the entire power of Base 64 to extract complex bankruptcy forms. They just have to pay for signatures only.
Great. And we'll end on this last question that's come in from Petra. I don't know if you want to take this, Keith, or Otsan, but Petra's asking, what are the capabilities that differentiate you from other IDP vendors?
Just in brief, I guess there's quite a few things, but at the very top, it's the extensive library that Ozan talked about with 2,800 pre-trained document AI models, which eliminates most template setup and having to test, thousands and thousands of different templates for, one type of document type. We also use semantic AI to handle unseen document types, which he just talked about that before. We offer a full document lifecycle automation for document classification, extraction, validation, and reasoning via low-code workflow and API-first integration. We also emphasize data transfer team by linking every type of extracted field to its document source and supports, which we just talked about before. We do cloud on-prem. I don't think we even talked about air-gapped, but that's if we need to air-gap, we can do that as well. Additionally, we have the ability to do AI agents, which can allow companies to enable decision automation beyond just data capture. They can give enterprise faster, more accurate and compliant document processing, more than just data extraction across diverse industries. So I think that's hopefully puts a bunch of information into a small response.
I also want to add something that quite unique to Base 64. We really deeply care about our customers. So much so, we have a 24-hour call centers. That's toll-free, 833-866-4646. It's on our webpage. So if you have any problems or questions, you can reach out to a human automatically. And we also have a very deep, extensive help page for anything you want. And every page on the website is linked to a help menu for your quick access. But sometimes, if you want to talk to a human, so that's also we are here for your questions.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you to Odesan, to Keith, and to Raphael for that absolutely fantastic presentation. We so appreciate it. And I'm sure that we will see you at the next webinar or at the next event at Base 64. But in the meantime, please do add Odesan, Keith, Raphael on LinkedIn, continue the conversation and look out for their next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.